Why, hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's 8 o'clock on the dot. My name is Harlequin Murray. I'm an independent agent with David Allen Capital, just like yourself. And I have the honor and privilege to introduce our team leader, Miss Ellen Nguyen. She grew up here locally in the Atlanta area on her family farm in Dallas, Georgia. She was a corporate trainer and operations director for Domino's Pizza. And then in 1997, she left corporate to open up her own restaurant and her own restaurant brand, and has been a business owner ever since. When I initially met Ellen, she was a national training director for a network marketing company and a partner in a huge training center here in Atlanta. So it's obvious that Ellen loves training and helping people. She is the first in DAC to reach the area director classification, and she's the only one to reach that level. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ellen. But I do want to make a comment that if you have any questions, if you can put it in the chat or wait until the end, and we'll do it that way. But anyways, here is Miss Ellen Nguyen.
Thank you, Harlequin. Yeah, and if you do have questions, I prefer that you hold them to the end and put them in chat only if you can't stay till the end, because the chat sometimes creates distraction. People are trying to watch that rather than paying attention. And I've got some good stuff for you tonight, everyone. Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate you so much. You know, I couldn't do this without you. Harlequin has been with me and in many businesses over the years. We have a great friendship, and she's been my co-host with this team meeting now for over a year. So I really appreciate everything that you do. Harlequin has been named Agent of the Month with DAC in the past. So she is a proven leader in her own right. I'm turning off my phone so it doesn't ring in the background. And if you've got your phone or distraction, go ahead and shut it off, because you're going to want to take some notes on what we cover tonight. Okay. All right. So as I always like to do, I want to get us into screen share mode and start out with some team recognition. And we got a thumbs up on that, Harlequin. See the screen? Looking good. Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. And yeah, we still got folks coming in. I sent that reminder out. I thought I'd sent it out 20 minutes ahead, but it didn't send. So I had to go back and resend the reminder text out at the last minute. Okay. Team recognition. I do this every single week. DAC started this as a company, and then once we launched Bank Breezy in May, they got off track with doing team recognition, but I have continued to do it. So I like to go through and talk about who our top recruiters are. So on the leaderboard for the week of 9/9 through 9/15, in first place, we had Eric Johnson with 5 new recruits. In second place, Seda Gomez with 4 new recruits. Congratulations, Eric and Seda. In third place, we had a 2-way tie with Dr. Bridget Linderborg and myself, each with 3 new agent recruits. In fourth place, we had a 5-way tie with Angela Barnes, Eugene Clapp, Dion Davis, Cheryl J.C. Evans, and Joshua Heilman. So each of these guys had 2 new recruits for the week. Congratulations to you guys for being on the leaderboard. And with 1 new recruit for the week, we had Bob Amato, Craig Becker, Mike Dew, Michael Edmondson, Jackie Evans, Terrence Gibson, Ashield Hodge, Anthony Kentz, Alan McCurry, Chris Bartalis, and Danny Thomas. So congratulations to you guys for having 1 new recruit for the week. So I always like to say this as well. If your name's not on the leaderboard, but you're having conversations about the agent opportunity, or you're having conversations about our funding and services, and you still haven't gotten your first client yet, it's just a matter of time before you'll have success, as long as you don't quit and give up the faith. Okay. So congratulations again to all of our folks on the leaderboard. I want to remind everybody that we have a fast start bonus available. So if you're on the leaderboard, how many fast start bonuses are you going to earn as their enroller? Enrolling new agents that get a funded deal in their first 30 days means you as the enroller, as long as you're engaged, then you're eligible to earn 50% matching bonus on whatever that new agent makes. So if you help a new agent make $600 and you're engaged, then you'll make half of that. You would make a $300 enroller matching bonus. If you're amped up, meaning you have had a new funded deal in the past 30 days, then you're getting double enroller fast start bonus. So you would make a $600 match on your new agent. So I want to remind everybody that that is there for the taking. We don't have enough people that are taking advantage of that and getting those matching fast start bonuses on new agents. We've got a lot of people on the team that are recruiting and aren't working with those folks and helping them get those first funded deals. Now, just because you're recruiting in my statement, I don't mean that for everybody. I'm saying there are a lot of people that are recruiting and not working with their people. Yet on the other side, we have a lot of people that are recruiting and working actively with their people. So I'm not necessarily talking to you with that statement. Okay, now this coming Friday, we have Shantae Roddy, and she's our agent of the month for September, and talk about earning that fast start enroller bonus. She is killing it, making personal commissions on her own fundings, and she has quite a few newly enrolled agents who are also getting fundings, and that means that she's getting fast start enroller bonuses as well as the ongoing enroller bonuses, where after your first 30 days, you only get that fast start bonus on the first funding of that new agent that gets the funding in their first 30 days. Okay, that's how that works. So you can either earn 50% or 100% match on their first funding, and after that, you still have your enroller matching bonus, where you get either 25% if you're engaged, or you get a 50% match if you are amped up. Right? So getting engaged, getting amped up, and staying amped up and moving through the comp plan is really what you want to be shooting for, getting yourself to DAC 4. But Shantae is doing all of the above, and I can't wait to hear her Agent of the Month interview this coming Friday. So mark your calendars for 11:30 a.m. at DAC Zoom, which is our corporate Zoom channel. All right, so let's talk about sticking and staying. And I took this slide out of the business presentation, and this is talking about business owners. Okay, as a DAC agent, we have the ability for great potential to make a great impact on our local communities, whether it be helping small business owners that need funding, or whether it be helping individuals who are looking for a way to make money from home. We have a huge opportunity to make an impact on both. But I pulled this slide because I think it speaks to us in a couple of different ways. Remember when David covers this in the presentation, these statistics came from the SBA, the Small Business Administration. 99% of businesses are small businesses, 30 million small businesses across America that employ 57 million people. Now, I don't know how many of those people are actually working right now, since there seems to be an employee shortage, but those are the statistics, right? But here's the statistics that I want to drive home. 1 out of 3 businesses are going to fail in their first 2 years. 1 out of 2 will fail in their first 5 years, and 2 out of 3 will fail in their first 10 years. Okay, so having a small business is not simple. It's not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart if you want to have a successful small business. The good news is DAC gives you the opportunity to be a small business owner without any investment whatsoever, with zero risk, and the opportunity to be profitable out of the gate. These small businesses, statistically here, are businesses that have invested tens of thousands or potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get their business started. And then they've got to have a constant influx of cash coming in to keep that business operational, right? So we've got a unique opportunity here with DAC as far as the business opportunity itself goes. but again, helping small business owners. But let's go back to this 1 out of 3 fail in their first 2 years. And I want to take this home to you, all of you agents on here tonight. And I want to drive home a point that out of DAC agents and out of network marketing industry as a whole, 1 out of 3 agents, or not, actually not 1 out of 3, over 90% of agents with our company and any other company out there in the direct selling space where you have a home-based business opportunity, where someone has an opportunity to be a business owner, a work from home opportunity, over 90% of those home-based business owners are going to fail in their first 2 months. It's actually like 2.8 months that the average person falls off of auto ship. So I'm pulling this from companies that do require a startup fee, and companies that do require you to buy products from them on an auto ship platform on an ongoing basis. The average person stays on auto ship 2.8 months in the network marketing space. Okay. So what that speaks to me on, and what I see in our organization, is agents get started, and even though there's no fees here, if they don't get a fast start out of the gates and start doing something productive in their first 30 days, we're already losing them. They're off onto something else. They're not having success. They're expecting a flip of the switch and all of a sudden they're making money when they've never done this before. They've never had a home-based business, or they've never had a successful home-based business, or they've always been an employee, right? So I just want you to think about what I always say, and that is having a stick and stay attitude and a stick and stay mentality. David was talking the other day about building this business over the course of time. And he said, for the average person, the bulk of your income is going to come from your own production the first 2 to 3 years that you're here. Now, Shantae is going to share with you on Friday in her interview that you can make some serious income off of your personal production. But as you do that personal production, it positions you to earn those enroller bonuses on people that you're recruiting, earning 25, 50, or 100% match on what their commission checks are, right? But it only happens if you start producing. Yeah, that first 60 days as a new agent, you've got a 60-day window that if you recruit somebody that gets a funded deal, you're going to get paid on them because you're automatically considered engaged your first 60 days. But outside of that, if you're not going to work and producing, this is not the opportunity that you're going to have success in, right? You've got to be willing to get out of your comfort zone and do the things that are going to make you successful. Harlequin and I were talking before this call. We always talk before the Monday night Zooms, and I kind of go through what I'm thinking about and what I'm covering in the meeting. And she's asking, what do we need? Just back and forth, kind of a game plan going into these Zooms. And we're talking about different success stories of big companies that have made it. And Harlequin shared that her family business, they have, how old is your store there, Harlequin? 30 years old, your family's business?
Yeah, it's somewhere between 25 and 30 years old at this point.
Right. And in that first year of business, how much were they doing?
They were probably doing maybe 100,000
a year,
for the
right?
first year. Yeah.
And this is a arts and crafts store, Hobby USA.
Hobbytown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had a huge investment in the retail space. They had a huge investment in inventory. They had a huge investment on an ongoing basis, keeping employees there to service customers, insurance, all the utility costs, everything that goes into having a brick and mortar business, right? So maybe $100,000 their first year. Now, fast forward 25 or 30 years, what do those numbers look like?
They hit an all-time record for the franchise. It's a franchise, but they hit 10 million in sales.
Wow. That's amazing. But it took a long time to get there, right? So
Absolutely.
between that, and Harlequin gave the example of Amazon, how they started out as a bookseller, right? Now they're the largest company in the world, doing more revenue than anybody else in the world. So you've got to have a stick and stay mentality to make this business work. I'm here for the long haul. Okay. I see agents come in like a flash in the pan. They'll come in and 2 or 3 months, they're giving it a pretty good go. It doesn't hit just like they want it to hit, and then they're off to something else. But I'm not. I've been here since June of 2018, and I know that it is a steady, day by day activity plan to have success. But I also know that with the businesses that I've built in the past, that if you do just build it one brick at a time, like I give the example in the Fast Start orientation, if you do that, you will find those leaders that are going to help you build a massive business if you're doing team building. But it also gives you the experience that you need to be able to talk to customers and to be able to help other people be successful. So I saw this post in the DAC agent group from Morgan Rutz. Morgan is David Rutz's daughter, and she is on our support team. She posted this in the group, and I thought, wow, what a great image. So it kind of led me to what we're talking about tonight, of getting out of your comfort zone. We're over here. We've got this small space that we're all in our comfort zone, right? We feel safe. We're in control. We know everything that's going on around us. But for you to expand your business and expand your growth, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. Well, when you start doing that, especially as a new agent, you're going to be affected by other people's opinions if you're not solid in your belief, because you're going to run into those people that go, you're doing what? You're a business services or a business funding agent? All I've ever known you to do is to work in the warehouse, or all I've ever known you to do is to be a car sales rep, and you're doing business funding now? Okay, good luck with that, right? You're going to have people that are cynical. You're going to have people that will say, yeah, well, I'll watch and see how successful you are with it, and then I might be interested in it, right? Or let me know how that works out for you. People are going to try to tear you down because it's something different outside of how they're used to seeing you. You're also going to run into fear of rejection, fear of being embarrassed and being in an uncomfortable position. And when you do that, you find excuses, or you make excuses for why you can't do it. You know, I see people go from being an employee to working from home, and now they have an entire day to do whatever, right? But at the end of the day, they haven't gotten a lot done because they start making excuses in their mind. Instead of doing the things that they need to do, they make excuses and they start finding things around the house to do. You know, oh, I'm going to do laundry today, or I'm going to clean up my child's room and organize it today. And before you know it, you have all these excuses in your way, and the week has ended out, and you've not accomplished anything with your business, but your house is nice and tidy, right? So those things come into play. The next thing is lack of self-confidence. And lack of self-confidence, I think the best way to get over that lack of self-confidence is just to start having conversations, acquire new skills, get into the learning zone, really dive into the training. If you've only watched our training one time, you haven't watched it enough. If you've watched it 5 times, you haven't watched it enough. Okay. If there is training out there that has not, you haven't absorbed it enough to really start taking action, then you're just a spectator sitting on the sidelines watching the game go on, right? Everybody asks me, Ellen, are you a football fan? Are you a basketball fan? All of this. I'm like, no, not really. I used to be athletic when I was in school, and I loved playing sports, but I'm not a good spectator at all. I'll go if I know someone personally and I'm cheering them on, but I'm not a good spectator just sitting back in the stands watching everybody else perform. And that's because I've always been that performer. I've been the one on the field or on the court right? So I'm not a good spectator in that respect. And I'm not a good spectator when it comes to my business. I don't like watching other people do things and me sitting on the sidelines, because I do like watching other people. But when I watch other people have success, it fires me up. It puts a fire under me, and it makes me want to be competitive and go, man, if Shantae can do it, I know I can. Or if JC can do it, I know I can. If Eugene can do that, I know I can. If Harlequin can do it, I know I can. And it just pushes me to do better and to do more. So if you're being a spectator right now, I encourage you to take other people's successes and use that as motivation for you to have success as well. Because if they can do it, I know that you can do it. You're on one of the best teams in the company, and you've got the best support systems and the best support leaders here in this organization, in the entire company. So there's the only reason that you're not having success, if you're not, is because you haven't made the decision to be successful. So extend your comfort zone. And I'm having to look around my camera, and deal with challenges and problems as they come your way, because every time you're faced with a challenge or a problem, you can look at it as a problem, or you can look at it as an opportunity to get better. All right. Or an opportunity to be a problem solver. And that's what I always think of myself. I'm a problem solver. Whatever comes up, we're going to find a way around it. We're going to find a solution, and we're going to make it work so that we can keep charging ahead and going forward. Okay. So the outside of the comfort zone is where you start setting new goals, because you've broken through those uncomfortable barriers that are holding you back. You set new goals, and you set higher objectives for yourself. And this is when you start growing. You get into finding a purpose with what you're doing, and you get into a position where you start living your dreams and really enjoying not only what you're doing with your business, but enjoying more of life. Because if you're doing what you need to be doing in your business, it's going to be paying you significant money. And when you're making significant money, you got options. Options, I mean, money is always freedom to me, because when you have money, you're never beholden to anybody else. Nobody else is controlling the shots. Nobody else is calling the shots. And you're not having to say, no, I can't go to that nice dinner because the menu is too expensive. Or if you do go to that nice dinner, you're sitting there drinking water and eating a salad while everybody else is eating steaks, right? Because it's too expensive for you. Or you can't drive that nice car. You can't take that nice vacation because you have let your lifestyle go down to your income level. So don't do that. I encourage you to raise your income level so that you can raise your lifestyle and stop living at a level that you could be better at if you'll just get outside of your comfort zone and start pushing yourself. Now, to get outside of your comfort zone, you got to start having conversations with people. I covered this in the training, and I want to touch on it real quick, and then I'm going to point you back to the training, okay? So who do you approach? First and foremost is warm market. I do a fast start orientation, and I take you through a memory jogger. If you have not done that, then you're not serious about this business, because serious agents are going to do it. I have a new person on our team. He's on here tonight, Fred. And Fred went through, and when we went through what to do, I sent him through the fast start orientation, doing the memory jogger. And his first day after doing that, he reported back that he had 477 contacts on his list, just the first run through. Okay. I haven't asked him how many he has now on that updated run back through it, but that's a serious person. When you go through that memory jogger, instead of going, it'd be easy to go, I don't know anybody, I can't think of anybody. And that's what most people do. But the most people are the 90+% agents that are going to leave here in 2 months because they don't want to do what is required to be successful, right? Well, go through that warm market, do the memory jogger, and start reaching out to people that you know, people that you are doing business with. Follow your dollar and spending, and where you're spending your money. Make sure every one of those business owners know what type of business you're in, right? Canvassing as a customer using our drop cards. canvassing an entire area, picking your local city and just going out, making that circle bigger and bigger and bigger as you're going out and covering your area. Doing social posts. You're going to love what Shantae covers on Friday. So again, mark that on your calendar. Next, we have advertisements, whether you're doing Google or Craigslist ads, all of the advertisements. I do every bit of it, guys, but I started doing ads after I had started doing the other things. I'm still constantly reaching out to people that I know. People come into my circle or I get referrals in my warm market. That's an ongoing daily given activity. I have ads running in the background. So I have some things coming at me, because I'm busy. I own another business and I'm growing DAC while I have a full-time business with my limousine company and another direct selling company that I've been with for going on 12 years now. So I've got a lot of things going on, but DAC is where I want to have my future. I want this to be my retirement income. And I'm serious about what I'm doing. So I've got all of this in play. I look at my day every day. I look at my day and I'm going, okay, what do I need to get done today? And I mark off a checklist of things that are going to help me grow my DAC business. All right. The last thing on the list here is lead services. I want to touch on that real quick because our lead services live transfer program that was talked about last week, it went live today. And we have just a handful of beta testers that were invited out of the ones that opted in and said that they wanted to participate in it. David and Wade picked a handful of us. I'm happy to report that Harlequin and I both are in that beta testing. Today was the first round of it. So we're just getting our feet wet with how that program is going to work. But we've had some good conversations. We've had quite a few calls between Harlequin, me, and also Pam, who is on my team. We've had quite a few calls today. I know Pam had a couple of leads that actually went through and they submitted the form. Sounds like they do qualify. We've got some big fundings in place there. Harlequin had some hopeful conversations, and I had one that could potentially be around $100,000 with one lead. I didn't have leads coming in all day. The beautiful thing about this program, and I'm talking about it, it's not open to you guys right now, but I want you to think about it and think, okay, well, I want to be able to opt in on that when it opens up or if it opens up, right? So I want you to think about this. You have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm working Monday only for 2 hours a day, and that's the only time slot that I have to take leads. And you get to select what day of the week, you get to select what timelines you want the leads to be coming to you, and that's when they come. So they're always going to come at a convenient time with your schedule, and your schedule can be flexible. So we all had the ability to do that and then get to pick how many leads that we wanted. And of course, this is a beta program, so it started out with small numbers. Everybody had to commit to at least 10, but we couldn't get more than 20 apiece. I got 20. And I told Wade I would have taken every one of them if nobody else wanted to buy leads. They're $35 a piece, so that's an initial $350 commitment to get started with those. Some of you are probably going, $350? Oh my God, that's expensive. Really? I had $150,000 invested in my restaurants before I opened the doors. $350 is not expensive to me. I spent over $350 Saturday night at dinner. Okay, so $350 is relative to what you anticipate that $350 investment to have as a return on investment. One funded deal will pay for that 2 or 3 times over. Okay, so that's how I look at my business and what I choose to spend and what my return on that investment is going to be. All right, so I mentioned the fast start orientation over on my Vimeo channel at vimeo.com/showcase/725-7108. This is my team tutorials of new getting started videos, right? We've got the team welcome that I text out to every new agent that joins the team, and then that's followed up by the agent orientation, fast start orientation. It is in addition to the videos 1, 2, 3 at the top of the Agent Resource Center, because in that orientation, I'm going to take you through how you think about money, getting you to think outside the box in the cash flow quadrant. I'm going to take you through really diving in deep and getting to what your why is. And we're going to talk about the memory jogger. And yes, it's going to point you back to doing those 3 trainings that are required for you to watch before you even go talk to the customer, right? But it's going to reinforce all of that and give you some additional tools to help you be successful. So if you haven't seen that Fast Start orientation, please go watch that, and please do the exercises that I talk about there. As you heard Harlequin introducing me, I was a national training director with a previous network marketing company there for many years. I was with that company over 7 years, and I traveled the country for them doing trainings and running a training center. So I'm only teaching what I know works, but you have to be willing to put the work in yourself to make sure that that's working. Okay, next thing I want to point to, and then I'm going to go through some lead scripts that we kind of touched on it last week. I did some role plays, some live role plays with a couple of people, but we're going to tighten it up a little bit. And I'm going to show the lead script that we're using with these live transfers. This kind of came from Wade and David, and then I took that and I put my own twist on it to make it feel comfortable coming out of my mouth, something that I would say. But 90% of it is what Wade put out. I may have just rearranged it a little bit, but I'll go through that in a minute, and I'll actually send you guys a copy of it. So want to point you back to the Agent Resource Center, where we have our side-by-side comparison, the PDF under Business Capital Training. Number 1 is this side-by-side of Hank Breezy and David Allen Capital Funding, right? So you need to know the basics of our 2 programs. How do you get better at that? Well, you go through different scenarios. You find somebody to do role play with, like we did last week, and get comfortable, get outside of your comfort zone, but get comfortable with knowing what to say. So I bring this up because the last item there before live leads was running ads. And I know there are a lot of you on here tonight who are doing Craigslist ads or who are doing Google pay-per-click ads. So you've already got traffic coming your way, and you've already got an opportunity to be talking to people if you have your phone number in those ads, or if they're seeing your website and calling you from your website or the ad, right? So I want you to be prepared to handle calls when people call you about your ad or about funding. I have Craigslist ads, and I have Google pages out there, and I'll have people call all the time. The first thing is yeah, I'm calling about a business loan, or I'm calling to see how your program works for business funding, right? That's how the conversation always starts when somebody is calling you off of an ad. Well, how you handle that is key to getting that person through the door and to the next step. First, you got to qualify them, right? Because if they don't qualify for funding, we can't help them. But you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions. So what I'm going to do is cover what our call script is. And this is actually my document. I just put it in here so that we can go through it live. But when those live lead transfers are coming to me, but imagine this is someone calling you off of your own ad, right? Instead of a lead center calling. You answer the phone. I always answer the phone. Thanks for choosing DAC. This is Ellen. How can I help you? So that I'm always setting the tone that this is a business that they're calling, right? So with these leads, we have to start out saying our name and that we're an independent agent with David Allen Capital. So I reworded it, and I'll just go through. Let's say that that Harlequin is my business owner. So they introduce her, and I say, hey, Harlequin, my name is Ellen. I'm an independent agent and funding specialist here at David Allen Capital. How are you doing today? So I'm gonna wait for her response. Great. Well, listen, Harlequin, I know you're busy, so let me give you a real quick overview of David Allen Capital so you can understand why we are your best solution for capital. We have one of the largest funding platforms in North America with over 17 in-house funding partners. They compete for your business, therefore creating a one-stop best offer guarantee for our clients. We work with all of the top lenders, and because of our large business volume, we're able to get you better offers from our funding partners than you could get on your own. The application is free, and all of our funding offers are non-collateral signature funding that can be used for any purpose with no prepayment penalties. We are not a bank, therefore, we don't have a lot of confusing rates. We will provide you with the cost of capital upfront before you ever accept an offer. There are no hidden fees, and as I just stated, we have no prepayment penalties. Now, we have two funding platforms, so let me ask you a few quick questions so I can determine the best option for you, okay? And this is where, if it were somebody calling off of my ad, I would probably start with this and reverse it, right? But I go through what I just covered just now at the beginning of a call with someone that's being transferred, because those live leads have already been pre-screened. They've already been pre-screened to know that they're doing at least $15,000. They've been in business at least 6 months. They have at least a 450 credit score, 500 actually, and that they're looking for funding and they have an EIN number. So all of our basic requirements, they've already been pre-screened on that, right? So that's why we start with that introduction, to get them to understand that they're talking to a company that has multiple funding partners, that we're going to get them the best offer, right? But if I were just calling, or someone were just calling me off of an ad, say they called off of my Craigslist ad, I would do that same introduction there at the beginning. And then I would say, well, we have two different funding platforms. So let me ask you a few quick questions so I can determine the best option for you. What type of industry are you in? Tell me a little bit about your business. What is your industry, right? Get that information. And every time I'm talking to someone, I got a yellow pad out here and I'm making notes on the client. So wherever my phone is in the house or wherever I'm traveling, I have a notepad easily accessible. So I would just write down what type of industry, how long have you been in business? Write it down. Okay, what is your average monthly sales revenue over the last 3 months? If you look at those 3 months, let's look at the average and then tell me what the lowest is out of those three. Okay, get them to give me that number. And then I'm going to ask, is all of this revenue getting deposited into a business checking account? That's key. Remember, they got to have business checking, and that money has to go into the business checking. We can't take money from a personal account. It's got to be seen in their business checking account. Then I'll say, okay, great. Well, are you structured as a corporate entity like an LLC and using an EIN, or are you a sole proprietor using your social security number? Why is that question there, right? It's there because if they don't have an EIN, there's no way that we can get them qualified through Bank Breezy because it requires an EIN. But if they're doing 20,000, then they don't have to have an EIN. We can send them through David Allen Capital, right? Okay, next question. How much is it that you're looking to get today? What's that number? And how fast do you need the funds? And then how do you plan to use these funds? So I'm gathering some information so that I know which platform to send them to. So let's say, what if they're doing $25,000 a month in revenue, but they only need $8,000? Which platform am I going to send them through? Anybody? Which one? Doing 25,000, they need $8,000. Anybody type that in the chat?
Bank Breezy.
Bank Breezy? Ding, 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 ding. Correct. Yes, absolutely. Why do we send them to Bank Breezy? They meet the DAC requirements of 25,000, right? But anything under $10,000, Bank Breezy is our partner that is going to give that offer, right? So, but if they don't have the EIN number, you'd have to send them through DAC. DAC can still get an offer through Bank Breezy. They may not get it approved without the EIN, but even if they do, then it's going to be reduced funded value. So those are the kind of questions that you need to ask. So after I ask these questions, I'm going to say, accordingly, if they do meet all the qualifications and all the boxes are checked off, I'm going to say, okay, great. So based on your answers, it sounds like we have a solution for you. We just need to get you over to our online application. Are you near your computer right now? Boom. Now, if they're near their computer, great. Well, I'm going to send you an email, and I want you to stay on the phone with me, make sure that you receive it, and then I want to walk you through a couple of things. That's where you take control of the conversation. You're the expert here, and you're walking the client through it. It's real easy to say, okay, I'll send you an email. You send an email and you get off the phone and you never hear from the client again. You want to send it while you're on the phone with them. Make sure that they got the email one. And while they're waiting for that email, I'm going to finish up my script with them. And I'm going to say, yeah, well, let me know when you get that. Because once you're established with us, we can easily add on funds to help you with future needs. In fact, most of our clients come back multiple times for funding because of our transparent funding offers. We're genuinely interested in creating a long-term relationship with you by making this entire process simple, fast, and affordable. We just need you to submit a few items and we can have you an offer within a couple of hours and usually fund you the same or next day. Okay. Now, by the time I have finished that, they've probably received the email, and I'm going to ask them to go ahead and open up the email. I'm going to take them down to the apply. Let me see. I don't know if I've got. Yeah, I'm going to come off of the screen share. Before I go over to the next, I'm going to open up on my computer. I'm going to open up an email. Just to remind you, if you aren't familiar with how Zoom works, down here on the bottom of your screen, you have the ability to raise your hand under reactions. You can click on that and it'll open up a window with a raise hand bar. You can do that to raise your hand to ask questions or comments. And then bottom left of your screen, there's a microphone button where you can mute and unmute yourself. And there's also a video screen right next to that where you can click on that and it'll put you on live video, which we always love seeing you if you are on video. Yeah, let me go open up a window and I'll come right back in to the Harlequin. Are we on screen share?
Nope, you've come off of screen share.
Good. I meant to. I'm just making sure because I'm opening up my email now. Give me 1 second here. All right, let me go back to screen share now. All right, we got my email in the middle of the screen, right? Hang on a minute.
Yes, you do.
I did.
You
I
did,
closed it
yeah.
out. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it back up. Live is live, right?
Yes, it is.
Get that compose window back up. There we go. All right, almost there. Here we go. All right, back to screen share one more time. Okay, in the middle of the email, right? Okay, so last week I was talking about templates, and here's how templates work. I'm going to go here to templates, and I have a over 15K template that I've already typed up. I just select it from my template list, and it automatically pops into my email. So with this email, this is my subject line. I would change it to funding info we discussed, right? And when I send that email to them, I'm telling them I'm sending them the email. I'm going to say funding info is in the subject line, assuming they're going to go look at their email right now. If not, then we're going to, I'll just tell them to make sure that they check for the email, and I'll follow up with them, right? But here I've got a template. All I would need to do is put in who that recipient is and type in their name. And then I've got the email. What is my email? Well, I start out with a recap of our conversation and how our process works. Why would I want to do that? Well, how many times have you ever talked to someone and they go, okay, well, this sounds good. I got to talk to my wife, or I've got to talk to my husband, or I've got to talk to my business partner. So I've recapped the script in the email for them. So if there's somebody else that needs to look at this offering process, then they've got basically what I've already said to them on the phone. So they're not having to remember what I told them about David Allen Capital. They're getting my little script in the email here. So I recap that, point out all of the highlights, and then I have steps to apply in larger, bolder print so that, you know, if I've got them on the phone, I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, the first part of that email is just a recap of our conversation. You can scroll on down to the steps to apply and follow these steps. Okay. And I've got it laid out, gather a few documents, letting them know what they're going to need. If I'm talking to a business owner on the phone, if they're actively looking for funding, they may already have their bank statements downloaded on their computer, and all they need is a copy of their driver's license and a check. I know personally, I'm not applying for funding, but if I needed those three things, I've already got them saved on my computer because I download my bank statements every month. I've got a copy of my driver's license from things I've done where I needed that ID, and I've also got voided checks already on my computer. So chances are a business owner may have those things. So I've got it laid out what they need. And then next step is to complete the online form, right? When you have the above docs ready to upload, simply answer a few questions about your business by filling out our pre-qualification form. This pre-qualification form is hyperlinked over to the pre-qualification form on my website, not David Allen Capital. It's just the pre-qualification form link itself. It goes straight there so they don't get sidetracked on anything. And then instructions, check your email. Within a couple of minutes of submitting the form, you'll receive an email from our submissions team with a one-page application you'll need to complete in full, sign, and date. After you've completed the written application, just reply to their email with the completed document attached. Note, the email may request your last completed tax return, but it's usually not necessary unless you're requesting over 100,000. The number is really 150,000, but I put 100 in there to be on the safe side, because when you're getting into those larger numbers, they may ask for a tax return. And then next step, after they've got the email, they're sending that in, they're also going to receive a phone call. Our David Allen Capital Funding and Submissions team will be calling you from an 803 or a 248 area code. They work directly with the underwriters and will be your direct contact if you have specific questions about your application or the funding process, right? Why did I put that in there? Because I don't want the customer calling me and asking me 50 questions about the fees and this, and do we need this, do we do that? They've got a support person inside of David Allen Capital, and they have an account manager at Bank Breezy with Biddy Advance. And I want them, after they've gone through what I needed them to do, which was get through the application online, now I want them to work with their account representative in-house to get those specific answers, right? And then the last statement, I appreciate the opportunity to serve you and look forward to helping provide you with solutions to help you grow your business for years and years to come. Okay, that's my professional email that I'm sending out. I had this template in place, but I decided doing these scripts that I really needed to include my script in the email body so that they could see that moving forward in case of sharing it with a business partner or a spouse. Okay, I'm back off of screen share, right, Harlequin? Harlequin? Eugene, can you give me a
Sorry,
thumbs up?
yes,
Are you seeing my
sorry.
screen anymore? Yes.
You're good. You're good.
I'm good. No more screen share, right?
No more screen share.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I
Awesome.
was trying to take pictures of everybody who's participating today.
Okay,
So
I got you. I got you. Okay, thank you. Hey, Eugene, I see you have a hand up. Let's get you unmuted. What do you have for us tonight? Questions, comment?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. How you doing?
Doing okay. Everybody, how you doing tonight?
Awesome.
You know, I want to go back to what you were first talking about when you first came on. And I just want to share some stories with the team about planting seeds, because so many times it is fear. And what I'm finding now is that a lot of people who come into our business, they want to go ahead and know everything that they think they're supposed to know before they get out there. And I always made the statement, I'd rather have a team full of people who have ignorance on fire than knowledge on ice. You know,
Amen.
you're not going to know everything that you're supposed to know. You learn this, you fail your way to success. But what I'm finding is so many of us are afraid of failure. We're afraid of rejection. And it comes across not only to us as other agents, us as leaders, but it comes across to the potential client over the phone. It comes across in person because it's almost like a desperation. And one thing about it, nobody will do business with somebody who's desperate, because when you're desperate, you make mistakes and you cut corners. So the first thing what I want to tell the team is this: you have to realize we have zero invested in this. We don't have any dollars invested. If we make a dime, we are making a profit. So there's no need to be desperate. Now, if you've come in this and it's a life or death situation, if you don't make the money you won't eat, you're probably in the wrong place. You probably need to get a backup plan until this grows. And that's just being crazy if you do that. That's not planning. And proper pre-planning, as we say, prevents piss poor performance. Now, let me just give you some steps about planting seeds and something that happened to me on Friday. Friday, we had an agent call with David Russ, and let me tell you, I was so impressed with David because for one of the first times, he said what needed to be said, and he got on butts. He got on all agents' butts about not doing what they're supposed to do, not having a conversation. And he didn't see me, but I was about to do backflips in here because I'm like, yeah, that needs to be said. Because sometimes people get all enthralled with the warm and fuzzies. This is not a warm and fuzzy business. This is business. And it's not going to be warm and fuzzy. It's not going to be nice. It's gritty. It's dirty. You got to go in there and you got to fight for what you want. But it was funny, as he said that, I'm looking at my phone and I get a text. I get a text from a gentleman who was a kitchen design guy who I left a drop card 4 months ago. He wanted to meet with me about funding. So after the meeting was over, I get dressed in my signature trademark outfit, my suit and one of my fedoras, and I go on and I go to his business. This guy is doing $360,000 a year, cannot get funded from a bank, has a 640 credit score, everything was in place. He's looking for 80,000. So I went through pretty much the spiel you went through about asking the qualifying questions and saying things to him. As I'm talking to him, next to his shop, his cousin has the bay next to the shop. His cousin walks in. He wasn't at work that day because he was going fishing. He had on the fishing shirt and everything, but he heard what I was talking to his cousin about. He said, listen, I need you to come talk to me maybe Wednesday or Thursday of next week, which is this week, because I'm going to need about 40,000. So right there, I planted a seed 4 months ago. I wasn't desperate. I knew that they'll call their own time. As I'm leaving out of there, I get a phone call from a guy who was referred to by a guy I met eating barbecue last week in a place called Shorty's Barbecue. We're sitting down there for lunch eating barbecue. We're talking. He's a general contractor. I'm talking to him. And I told him, look here, man, if you're a GC, and this is just what I told him, you need to bring your ass in this business and you need to become an agent because you know a lot of subcontractors. So he and I were talking back and forth. He said, well, give me some cards. I gave him some cards. He actually gave the cards out to his subcontractors. One of his guys called me. He owns a high-end security installation company. And he wanted to know what we do. None of this would happen if I did not step outside of what is a perceived comfort zone. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I really have no inhibitions, and you know that I launch out loud. And I want to encourage all of you, this is not a business for closed mouth people. If you got a closed mouth, you're not going to get fed. People have to know what you do. You have to talk to any and everybody. And if you're scared, Be like the duck when he's floating on top of the water. He looks very smooth, but underwater, his feet are just moving. His feet are just moving. His feet are just going. If you're scared, put that fear up under your feet. Get your feet to move and go and talking to people. There is no easy way to do it. And Ellen, I glory in your spunk and your patience. Harlequin, I glory in your spunk and your patience. David, I glory in his spunk and his patience. But there's very little time. We're adults. We know what we have to do. We know we got to watch 3 videos. We know we have to do certain things. The week after week, Monday after Friday, I hear the same questions being asked and the same replies. Go look at the videos. Go through the trainings. And it's coming from the same people all the time. And it gets to a point where it's almost comical. And it has to stop because, like you said, Ellen, we have tasks. And when those tasks are given, that's how we see who's the cream and who's not. The people who want to be in the cream of this business, they're going to go ahead and complete those tasks. And those will be the ones that leadership works with. And I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's anybody else. If we're not completing the task, we can't expect to be worked with because we're not doing the basic things that we have to do. People, this business is not a hard business, but the business is still a business. There's still some self-discipline, and that's the biggest word, discipline, that it takes. It's not going to be easy. If you're on my team, hell no, do not call me to always get your hand held and your back patted. Yeah, I do it once or twice. We're adults. Suck it up and let's go ahead and do what we need to do because our first job here is to help businesses. But don't you get it twisted. We are here first and foremost to make money for ourselves and our families and get to a degree of financial solid ground independence that we need to survive, grow, and thrive and to do it well. Hell, aren't you all sick of eating spam? Don't you want to eat steak? So, let's do this. People, plant the seeds, talk to people, pass out the drop card, pick up that 1,000-pound telephone and make the call and stop all the complaining because the complaining is getting you nowhere. We got this, man. We are sitting on the precipice of greatness.
Absolutely.
And anybody who's here, I'm preaching to the choir because you all are here. You all believe this. But if you don't believe it, I'm telling you, you need to start believing it. Because if you don't have the belief in this business and you own these calls, get the hell off these calls because you're taking up space. That's all I got to say, Ellen.
Right on, Eugene. Right on, man. You hit a lot of nails on the head with that. And what you said about first and foremost, that we're here to make money. Guys, this opportunity is here for you to make money. That's exactly right. David started David Allen Capital with a few agents in an office, and he was giving them all commissions. The company was doing better on a per agent basis when he had that smaller model. But because he loves helping people and he loves the network marketing model, and he knows that there are millions of people that are looking for a legitimate home-based business, he decided to bring the network marketing MLM model to fruition with David Allen Capital and give us all an opportunity to make a significant income from home. But you're not going to do it if you're just sitting back, attending trainings and not taking action. So thanks, Eugene. I appreciate your enthusiasm and spirit there, because that's really where we are. We've got to get out there and get things done. Talk about planting seeds as well. I had a gentleman call me first thing this morning. I talked to him in February. He was a referral to me through a local mortgage broker that didn't even know me, but he knew of David Allen Capital, and he found me on social media, did a 3-way call, connected me with a business owner that's doing a lot of business with 3 different companies that he owns in New Orleans, right? That's your territory, Eugene. Anyway, he's got 3 big businesses rolling, and we gave him an offer back in February. He decided not to take it. He went on, he was able to do funding through a friend that was doing an investment with him. but he called me today, this morning. He had my number saved, and when he needed funding from February to September, he called Ellen Winn. Because when we were in that process back in February, I made a connection with him. I was very helpful. I connected him with Wade. We had multiple back and forth conversations. And I told him at the end there, I said, hey, if anything changes down the road and you find yourself in a situation where you need fast working capital again, I'd love to work with you again, Donald. And lo and behold, he called me today. He's probably going to end up getting a couple $100,000 from us for this new venture. So that planting those seeds and diligently, consistently putting seeds out and doing the work and letting everybody know that you're in business as a business capital agent. Because David always gives the example, if you want to sell your house, you're not going to refer it to, you're not going to give that responsibility and sign a contract with a real estate agent that's a very part-time agent and doesn't take it seriously, right? Well, if you want referrals in this business, you got to be serious that you're out here, you're playing full on 100% as a DAC business services and funding specialist, as I said in my script. So I'll send that script out, you guys. You'll be able to take that, and I'm going to send it in a saved link where you'll just be able to highlight and copy everything from that script and then paste it into your own Word document, or Google Docs is really where I have it housed. You can paste it in there, put your name in it, and create and use a script so that if you've got incoming calls from Craigslist ads or any marketing or social media that you have, when somebody calls you, you got a little bit more right in front of you on how to respond to those. All right. Anybody else have questions or comments tonight? Who we got? Harlequin, am I missing anything from the chat?
Yeah, we had a couple of people who were asking about the scripts, and then we have somebody asking about the Craigslist training, where you have that.
Oh, yeah. It's in my team folder, and I'll send that out in the email, because this goes out, this gets posted on YouTube, and I don't necessarily want to advertise that on YouTube, so I'll send it out in my team email. How about that? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll make a note of that. Craigslist. Let me say this on Craigslist. I had an agent tell me today that they had 2 Craigslist accounts shut down on their recruiting accounts. So I encourage you to follow my training to the letter, right? I went the hard route to begin with, and I too had a Craigslist account shut down early on in this process, but I have been creative with this, and I know if you just warm that account up and use it as a funding advertising platform initially, and use a domain name initially, that you can have a long-lasting Craigslist account, as I still do. Craigslist in the script. All right, anything else in the chat there that we need to address question-wise? Any comments, anything that I didn't mention, Harlequin, or anyone? Anybody got questions about anything?
I do have a comment, though.
Okay.
One thing from doing the leads today, it's a whole different ballgame when you get a random phone call and you have no idea who this person is, what they do. You basically get very little information. You get their name, their phone number, and how much money they want initially. So one of the things, if you're wanting to do those leads, you really need to know your script. Also, I know that they're not wanting to do to have anybody doing the live leads unless they've already completed a funding. So work on getting a funding so that you've been through that process, so that you can go ahead and walk the person through that.
Yeah. Good comments there. But you know, every time you get a phone call just out of the blue because you've got either marketing or warm market, or you've handed out your drop card, or someone is calling you to ask about funding, it's the same exact thing. You know, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking when you're getting a live lead transfer, because when it calls, boom, that operator is saying, This is so-and-so. I have a live transfer with Mr. Smith. Can you take care of Mr. Smith? Yeah, sure can. Boom. Then they hand it over to you and you want to stick to the script, right? But I've done hundreds of those calls over the past 3+ years that I've been here because of my own efforts, my own marketing, putting myself out there. And, y'all have seen me on Zooms where my business line rings out of the blue when we're doing a Zoom. I've had that happen twice doing the fast start orientation because people found me somewhere. They're calling to ask how my business funding program works or what are the qualifications or they're needing money. So you just got to be prepared, but you get prepared by going through the training, getting it in here, and then going through the exercises, again, doing the role play, finding somebody to be a sparring partner, to bounce those questions off of Q&A and have somebody ask you a bunch of questions that a business owner would, just like we did last week on our Zoom. That's really the best way to strengthen that muscle of knowledge. And when you strengthen that muscle of knowledge because you're practicing, then you're strengthening that muscle of getting outside the comfort zone and actually doing it, because the more you do it, the better you get, the more fundings you're going to have, the more money you're going to make. And also you're going to be able to recruit a team, because if you're successful, it is attractive to people that want to work with successful people. David talked about the strength of the sponsor being one of the key things that really attracts somebody to come work with you. So keep that in mind as you're looking at team building and the opportunity ahead of you here. One last thing, anybody, any questions? Fred, I see your hand up. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Ellen. Thank you very much.
Hey, how many are on that list now?
Same amount. I haven't had an opportunity to get back to
Hadn't
it.
had a chance. Guy, this is Fred, who had 477 contacts on his initial run through of the memory jogger. Good to see you, Fred.
Nice seeing you, everyone, too. Thank you. It's great to be here. And I have a lot more on that list. It's just my memory banks have to pull them out, My question was, if I could get a simplified explanation of being amped up and being engaged. I think I have I'm a newbie, so I'm going through the videos one by one. I think I have an understanding, but I wanted to know if I can get from you just a simplified
yeah, you got it. Okay, so as a new agent, you're automatically considered engaged your first 60 days. So engaged is a 60-day window that's a rolling window, okay? When you get a new client, that makes you amped up. Amped up is a 30-day rolling window, okay? So think of being amped is a higher power. If you think about the power of the word, amped up is more powerful than engaged, right? When you just think about those two words. So amped up means you've had a client in the past 30 days and it's a rolling date. So you get a new funded client today, September the 20th, then you're amped up for 30 days. So your amped up date would expire on October the 20th. Okay. So that's your amped up 30-day rolling window. Now you're also engaged when you get amped, but that engaged window rolls out 60 days. So in 30 days, if you don't get a new client, your amped up status falls off, but you're still engaged all the way 60 days out. So you just got a 30-day window with amped and a 60-day window with engaged. So if you don't have a client at least one every 60 days, you're not eligible to earn overrides on your team fundings, just fundings. This is strictly the business funding commissions. You're not eligible to earn those enroller bonuses or the team overrides if you're not engaged. Another way to get engaged outside of just having personal funded clients, one every 60 days, is to go find customer finance clients. And that's really the ticket that you want to pursue, is having conversations with business owners about customer financing, because that is a conversation that if you're talking to the right business owner, they want to hear about it, because they don't have a dozen reps with a customer finance company coming in and calling on them every day. They're getting their doors knocked down from companies that are trying to promote payment processing, and they're getting their doors knocked down with companies that are trying to do business loans. A lot more of that is going on today. But we're in a unique space where our model gives us the ability to have that conversation about customer finance. If you have 6 customer finance clients, back to your original question about being engaged, then you are engaged. That's the other way. So either have a new funded client every 60 days or have 6 customer finance clients on the books, and you're engaged and eligible for those override commissions. So I know that was a longer answer, but I think that customer finance point is something you're going to see me talking about more and more. I'm working on a marketing campaign right now that's going to bring clients into a funnel that I've paid somebody to build for me, but I'm testing it, okay? And I'll keep y'all updated on it, but we're going to market and give away a free vacation to business owners for setting up a 15-minute business consultation with me, okay? I've got a free vacation program, and I'm going to put that carrot out there of a free vacation for business owners that will book a 15-minute appointment with me on a business consultation. Now, when they do that, I'm going to go through and give that vacation away, right? But then my next part of the conversation is I'm going to say, okay, Fred, let's be honest. Did you book this consultation just for the free vacation, or are you really wanting to see how we can help your business grow and save you some money, right? I'm going to ask that question and find out if I've really got a sincere business owner on the line with me, or were they just wanting the free vacation? Most of them are going to say, yeah, I really want to know what you can do for me. I'm going to say, okay, great. Let me ask you a few questions about your business. You know, what do you guys, how many employees do you have? Are you guys offering health care? What do you do with payment processing? Do you like your processor? When's the last time you changed out equipment? Do you accept Apple Pay? And I've got a whole script of questions that you can ask as a business consultant. And that's the approach that I'm taking with this giveaway, and also opening the door, because when you're out there promoting and having a conversation with a business owner, instead of trying to pick and choose what you want to talk about, whether you want to talk to them about funding or whether you want to talk to them about customer financing, but you open that door to just, let me see how we can help you. And you ask them questions about their business, it's going to open up the door to many more opportunities than just the funding. Because every business owner out there needs money. Every one of them do. A small percentage of them can get money from their bank, but we're looking for the ones that will need us. Maybe not today, but like Eugene gave the example of having left that card several months back. Now they're needing the money today and they're calling back. Same thing with me in my example from February. So it's just a matter of time, but none of that happens for any of us if we're not having conversations. So if we've got a means of having a real honest conversation with a business owner where we can really honestly show them how we can help them, then we're creating that long-term relationship with them. We become a trusted strategic partner for them in growing their business. Because I'm telling you guys, I talk to a lot of business owners every week, and there are a lot of business owners out there that it's amazing that they're making it as far as they've made it just from talking to them on the phone. Okay. They're brave. They're out there doing their own thing, but they're trying to do it by themselves, right? I hear it every single day. They're wearing 15 different hats, trying to be an expert of everything. And they're really an expert at whatever their craft is that got them started, but they're not an expert at managing their business or finding the best payment processor or determining whether they can afford to offer healthcare or any of those things. And we've got some of those tools that can really help that business owner flourish. They just don't know about it because they're uneducated. So as a business consultant, having that type of attitude here really gives us an edge in the marketplace. And that's what gives us the edge as an independent agent with DAC in the first place. Somebody said, well, gosh, the market is flooded. I just said it myself, that business owners are getting their doors knocked down with people on the phone, really calling them and trying to market working capital to them, right? They got people dialing in phone rooms that are calling to them, and they're hanging up on them. I have people on the team that are trying to do cold calling, and they're going, hey, what can I do to get to somebody that won't hang up on me? cold calling is hard. It's a competitive market out there. But what's not competitive is that you have a bunch of independent agents like you and I out here that have a relationship with either a friend or a family member that knows a small business owner, or we know the small business owner, and we're talking to them in a helping and consulting type conversation, right, rather than just trying to pitch them on something. Because people do business with folks that they know, like, and trust. And when you create that know, like, and trust relationship, that you're that trusted representative, you may not have all the answers, but you can get someone on the phone real quickly that does have the right answers for them. Who would that be? Who did you come into business with? You've got Eugene on here. You've got Harlequin on here. You've got me on here. You've got other leaders on here that I'm not seeing on the screen in front of me right now that are experienced, that know the right answers to your questions. So you're not alone out here. You just got to be having the conversations and connecting those of us that do know the answers to your client that's looking for help. And we can help direct them down the right path to a solution that gets the business owner what they want and need. And in return, it's going to help you grow your business. So thanks for asking that question, Fred. I know I went off on a tangent on that longer answer, but that took me to that thought. So thank you very much. Terry, I see you've got your hand up.
Hi, how are you doing? Good evening.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hold a second. Hold on. Oh, okay. Regarding the customer financing, do all 6 merchants have to be active?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for you to be considered engaged, they have to at least be paying the $25 a month on the platform, which is $99 a month. I'm sorry, let me restate that. The $25 is your commission off of it. So they have to be paying the $99 platform fee, or if they're a bigger business, there are some exceptions to where they waive the platform fee because they're going to be doing so many transactions. That's very minimal. So don't even think that there's a plan out there that's not going to be a fee. But if they are in that, then they're doing transactions. So yeah, they either have to be paying the platform fee or actively doing transactions. But they can be paying the platform fee, Cherry, and not be actively running transactions. As long as they're paying that $99, then they're considered.
But then they're considered active. Okay.
Yep. They're
Thank
an
you.
active account for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Anybody else? Going. All right. We've been on our normal about an hour and 15 minutes. I appreciate the questions. Did anything else new come up in the chat on that, Harlequin?
Yeah, actually, there was one other question. Joseph was asking if there are any other classified ad sites that you recommend other than Craigslist.
That's the only one that I'm using. So I typically don't recommend things that I don't know firsthand. I know, we've had some people running ads on Indeed for recruiting, but honestly, I can't think of, I may be wrong. And if you're on here tonight and you came through Indeed, excuse me, but most of the people that I've seen come through Indeed, they're looking for a job and they're looking for a salary or an hourly pay. And I don't know of anybody in my organization that came through Indeed that took this and ran with it because they thought they were signing up for a job opportunity and not a business opportunity. Even though the ad may have all of that in it, but Indeed requires you to have verbiage that makes it look like it's a paid job. And that's what attracts people in, but they're in and out in a flash. So I would not recommend that unless you find a different means of getting them in front of the right presentation, right? One other thing before we wrap up here, David had referenced this, that you're either talking too much or talking too little. We know that a lot of our agents are talking too little, right? Not having conversations, but you can also talk too much when you're talking to a business owner. Eugene, you referenced this earlier about you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to know everything. I know a lot about all of the ins and outs of our different services, but I don't want to be the expert when I'm talking to my client. My role as an agent, no matter how much I know, I'm not trying to impress the client with my knowledge. I'm trying to impress the client with how helpful our internal team is going to be. So when I talk to a client, my goal is to give them enough information, answer enough brief questions to get them to fill out the form on the website. That way, then they're going into our internal team who are the experts, and they can cover all of those detailed questions with them. Now, I know occasionally there will be a client that needs more information before they go fill out the form, and you kind of have to take those to heart. But think of our own different personalities. I'm that red personality, but I'm also that analytical type combination. So I like all the details, but I also, when you're talking to a business owner, they want the facts, they want the bullet points, and they want to know how you're going to help them, right? So just give them the facts, give them the bullet points to get them through the application site to get them to fill out the form. So sometimes too much information will talk them out of it. When somebody asks me about rates, I don't give the breakdown of, well, it's 1.19 if you pay it off in 30 days, or 1.29 if you pay it off in 60 days, or if you don't pay it in 60 days, it's 1.49 times payback. By the time you go through all of that, you've got the person glazed over and they're going, oh, this is too confusing, I'm not doing this. I break it down. What are the questions on the rates? Well, that's a great question. You know, our rates are determined on multiple factors here. They're going to take a look at your credit score. They're going to take a look at your average daily bank balance. They're going to look at what your monthly revenue is. But our underwriters are really the ones that determine what your final rate offer is going to be. So I really couldn't give you a specific answer on that until we see all of your financials. That's what I tell people on rates. I don't get into the breakdown of what you have on that Bank Breezy side-by-side sheet. I don't ever answer those questions, hardly ever. I may have a couple of times, but I usually skirt around that and get them to take a look at it. And I'll say on Bank Breezy, I make a point to say, make sure you look that offer. They're going to give you 3 different offers. They're going to give you what the early payoff is, what the midterm payoff is, and what the final will be if you go full term. So pay attention to those offers when you fill out the form. But I don't cover what the rates are. I let the experts do that because I don't want to, I don't need to, and I don't want to teach you guys to have to be able to do that either. So, all right. Any other questions? All right. If not, going, gone, last chance. All right, Harlequin, you look like you got something else there.
Yeah, just somebody mentioned that they got blocked on Indeed. And Kat was saying that she's used Flex Jobs for remote positions.
Okay. Flex, is that flexjobs.com?
I'm guessing so.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for putting that out there. That's right. We are referral agents, Eugene. You got it. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Hey, thanks so much for being here tonight. If you're watching on the replay, we would love to see you on the next live so that you can be here and ask questions and make comments too. But appreciate you all very much. We've got Friday Agent of the Month interview with Shantae Roddy. Make sure you mark your calendar. If not, it'll be on video and we'll get the replay out. I'll get this replay out tonight along with the Craigslist and the script that I went through. Okay, you guys have a great one. We'll see you on the next Zoom. Take care.